So we'll go with the first session. So the topic is production and operations management. Okay. So we are going to follow this particular book, Alternative whatever was given in Accounting for Managers, the same Cengage publishers, and this book is authored by Collier, Evans and Ganguly. Okay. So this time we are going only with one book. So there's no two books or something, only one. So we'll start with why this production management has to be there. What is the importance of production management? And we know that why operations is needed. Okay, though in a business we're going with finance, HR, marketing, and all various fields, the operations play a vital role because the streamline, the scheduling, the production capacity and everything should be managed properly so that the business can run with some profits, with a real vision for which the business is going. So we'll start with first lecture series, what is operations management? It is nothing but the science and art of ensuring that goods and services are created and delivered successfully to customers. So we know that there are two things happening. One is the goods and another one are the services, right? Both are coupled together. Sometimes the goods and services go accordingly when a company is going to have production and operations together, or they might go only with services. Okay. So this operation management, it has to be delivered successfully to the customers. The main reason is whatever products are being manufactured or produced, it has to satisfy the need of the customer. Customer is the base, and after doing all the survey and whatever is expected from the customer, it has to be optimized and brought into the business in general. Okay. So the second one is day-to-day management of the process. Right. So when operations are concerned, not only planning for the production, planning for the capacity, planning for the purchase of raw materials or the materials needed for manufacture, they should plan for what kind of process has to be implemented to produce a particular product. Okay. So the process is very important, and what is the process has to be scheduled before they start manufacturing a particular product. So production is very important. The third one is continuous improvement of goods, services and process. So any business, they cannot just stop by producing and selling in the market. They know that there is a survey, they know that what is the need of the customer, they will tap what is the target audience, who are going to be the customers for a particular product. All this is fine. But if they are not going to review, or if they are not going to have a continuous improvement on the product or service, then it is going to be a big failure, because they are supposed to compete in the market, right? Whatever be it, whether it's going to be a production unit or whether it's going to be pure service. You know what are the pure services are? Like banking, insurance, audit firms, lawyers and any professional firms, all these kinds are not doing any production work, but they will be giving only the pure services. So these are service-oriented organizations, and they also should maintain a discipline in following the skills needed for operations management. So they should always have a review and have a continuous improvement on the goods and services, whatever is being delivered to the customers. The best part is, an example is Walt Disney. Okay. Walt Disney, when they found all the entertainment, whatever has to be given to the public, they had a very clear idea, and they processed in such a manner that utmost entertainment with real discipline is being given to the public who is going to visit the place. Apart from all the age levels, whether it's going to be young children or whether it's going to be old ones or middle-aged, whoever is going to visit the place, the proper entertainment was being given to the public in general. So that is a very good example of that. Then we should know the core of operational management. Okay, there are certain examples which can be quoted. even if a person, some general managers or vice presidents who are not specialized in operations management but specialized in their own fields, probably in the IT field, or in infrastructure, or in finance or HR, whoever it is who is going to head the organization, they were very good in managing the entire organization on an operational skill basis. Okay, so the operational skills are very important apart from your general understanding. Right. The core operational management is efficiency is very important. So whenever a business is going to be started, a product is going to be manufactured, the customer is being requested to give whatever is needed, whatever is expected from him, all these things. The efficiency is very important. Much efficient work has to be done, or process has to be carried forward to clearly, make the product suitable for the customer in need. Second one is the cost of operations. Normally, whenever business is being done, the main mission is to have profits. Okay, so to attain the profitability, the maximizing the profits, what the company might do is they either increase the selling price, the sales turnover might be increased based on the customer requirements and based on the target audience. And for that, the cost on the operations is much needed. So what they can do is they can reduce the cost to much level without reducing the quality. Okay. So that in that manner, the cost of operations can be made more important. Third one is very important one, the quality of goods and services that create customer satisfaction. So whatever quality the company is going to implement, it must be satisfactory for the customers. So most cases, the quality might be claimed by the company, but the customer will not have that much of satisfaction on the real quality which is being given. So 100% quality is expected by the customers. So at least optimal quality has to be provided by the management in giving or rendering the product or the services. So when dealing with all this, there are certain activities that are considered to be very important for a manager to perform, especially when the manager is in the operations heading an operation team. There should be certain activities that they must normally perform. The first one is forecasting. So the manager should be very good in forecasting what exactly the product has to be, what should be the process involved in producing the particular product, and what kind of a target audience the company is going to face. What is the requirement of the customer, what kind of a product has to be delivered to the customer, and what competition or what kind of competitors are going to play in the market. So all this has to be forecasted in advance so that the management can decide efficiently to produce whatever product is needed exactly according to customers' requirements. Second one is supply chain management. Supply chain is starting from purchasing or procurement of raw materials and ending with the final user, that is the end user of the particular product. That might be the customer who is not going to sell the product, who is going to buy the product and consume it or use it for his own purpose. So the supply chain from the buying of the raw materials to produce the final goods, and then going to the wholesaler, going to the retailer, and finally the distributor, and then it goes to the person who is going to use it for his own purpose. So that is the supply chain that has to be adhered very clearly. And then the facility layout and design. Whenever operations are concerned, they should say the facility design. Okay, how the location has to be, what kind of a plant and machinery or the equipment is going to be installed in the factory, and where the exact machinery has to be installed. So suppose there are some 4 stages in the operations, where the first machine has to be there, and then from the first machine, whatever process is being completed, then it has to go to the move on to the second machine. So how will it has to go? What kind of a movement has to be done? What kind of a operational activity has to be performed in maintaining the layout? Okay. In service, also the same things might happen. When you are going to do the service, which service has to be given first? and what is the service that is going to accompany the first service, and then the third one. So it has to go in a proper order. So that layout and designing has to be maintained properly. Even if we go and visit a greeting card shop or something, where you know, apart from greeting cards, there might be some mementos, there might be some flower bouquets and all that. All kinds of goods, all kinds of articles will be placed. So they will be planning and designing the layout in such a manner how the customers are going to come in, which one has to be displayed first, which is going to attract the customers. Even the customers sometimes they will want to go and get only a particular greeting card, but sometimes they will come out ending up with some teddy bear or something, some other thing which the child requires. Okay, so the business person, what it does is, he knows pretty well that only the greeting cards is going to have more sales, but he will keep more attractive things in the first layouts. So that when the customer is entering into the shop, he will be attracted. Instead of seeing the greeting card and picking up and going to the billing section, he will first see what are all displayed in the shop, and then he will go to the final area. Even if you go to a grocery shop, straight away they will not keep the rice and all that at the front. It will be somewhere inside. But the front portions will be filled with chocolates, biscuits and all these things. Why the layout has been done? Because even if a person goes to buy only the required grocery, whatever is required, rice and dal or something. But when they are crossing all these things, they might be attracted towards buying these items. So the layout and design is very important. Technology. So the company or the management should go with the exact new technology or the latest technology or whatever is applied in the market. Without knowing or upgrading the technology, the company or the management will not be in a position to compete in the market. Their competitor will override the company. So the technology selection is very important. Company has to select the correct technology which is apt in the ready market. Then quality management, always, TQM is always the total quality management. The companies, whenever they are producing, they will be having a team of experts to always monitor and check, and the reason they bring in all the ISO standards and all that. So purchasing, next one is very important one is purchasing. When you go for the purchasing side, they must know what is exactly required, what should be the quantity that has to be purchased, and what should be in store. Okay, all these things are very important here. And then the capacity management, resource and capacity management. What kind of resources is required? That is the managing person, the person who is going to really work in that particular environment, the production unit, how much of labor is required. All these things are to be completely thoroughly checked out. And then the process design. So process and design is one where you're designing what could be the process in which you're going to produce a particular product. Okay, which is going to be the first one. You're going to lay out the process and design in such a manner that your process itself will state that finally you're going to achieve a particular product. Okay, so you should design the process in an efficient manner. Job design. So when you're going to allocate the jobs to various persons, we should know how many people are going to work in a particular environment, particular for a particular product which is going to be manufactured. How many supervisors are going to be there? How many labor is going to be accompanied? And for each one, what is going to be the job that the person is going to perform? Okay, so the job has to be designed in that manner, and then you should schedule everything. Schedule in a proper manner, because we'll go with finally we'll go with manufacturing scheduling process, where you're going to schedule how the process is going to take place in a particular organization. So one important thing is the concepts and methods of operation management. It can be used in any kind of a job. It's not necessary that the company has to be a manufacturing company. So it can be done in any kind of a job, regardless of the functional areas. Not only finance, not only HR, not generally in marketing, or not in any kind of a management business. It can be used or it can be applied in any functional areas of business, or it can be in any kind of industry, whether it can be steel industry or cement or service industry or automobile industry and all that. So the skills, one Ms. Shelley Decker, she was an accounting and information systems major in college. She was not really in operations, but she was good at accounts and information systems. And she tried to use various operational management skills to develop her business, and she succeeded in her business. And one is the process and design. She used quality management in her company and used inventory management. Inventory management is one very important area. The reason is how much of stock has to be maintained. You should not be overstocking. That is, you should not produce more than what is required. That is, more means you should have some safety stock, but you should not produce whatever is not required or which you cannot sell. And you should have what kind of an inventory control has to be taken by the management. And then scheduling. All these four she used it. And certain activities by Brooke Wilson. That is, first one is he started with planning and budgeting. Even though he's also not in the operation management business, but he started to do a planning and budgeting session and started his business by applying inventory management. He also applied the scheduling and capacity. That is, he scheduled very clearly how the process is going to take place and what kind of a product is going to be produced, how the process shall be designed, what kind of a job has to be allocated to the various employees and all that. And also he had a quality check in the organization, so that the product which is going to be delivered to the customer was on a qualitative basis. Next one is, by understanding all this, we should have a clear understanding on the goods and services. So good is a physical product that can be seen, that can be touched, that can possibly be consumed. Okay, so that is a physical good. That is one we call it as a good. If something you cannot see it, we will not consider it as a good. A durable good. Durable good means it can be used without wear and tear, and it at least comes for 3 years. So it is durable. That is, the durability can be guaranteed. It can go up to 3 years. And a non-durable good is one which is also a physical good, but it need not be a good which can come for many years. It might go off within 1 year. Say for example, you take a toothpaste. It's a good, physical good, but you can't use the toothpaste for 3 years or 4 years together. While you are consuming, it will be exhausted. Okay, so that is a non-durable good. And a service can be a primary service or a complementary activity that does not directly produce a physical product. So it can be a primary good, or it can be something which is attached to the primary good. Okay, so primary good is that actual product which is going to be manufactured. So for example, if a table or chair is being produced, that is a product which is considered to be a primary good. Certain goods are complementary activities which will accompany your primary goods, which is not a primary good. When you are going with goods and services, we should know some similarities and some significant differences do exist. One kind of a similarity is driven by customers, whether it's going to be a good which is going to be manufactured or produced, or a service which is going to be provided by a professional. Both are driven by customers, because the customers decide what kind of a product they need or what kind of a service is expected from them. Okay, so based on the requirement or the need of the customer, the good is going to be produced or the service is going to be rendered. So that is one similarity between goods and services. Second one is they provide value and satisfaction to the customers. So whether you are going to give a goods which is going to be manufactured in a company, or a service is going to be rendered by a lawyer, whatever we are doing, they should provide some value. The customer has to have some value, and the customer has to be highly satisfied on the goods which are being delivered to them or the service which is going to be rendered for them. Unless the customer is satisfied, the company cannot progress in whatever goods being manufactured or whatever services are being provided. Third one is both goods and services, they can be standardized for the mass market. So they can see what kind of a market is there based on the market size. The goods or the services can be planned accordingly. So that is the similarity between goods and services. There is no need that for goods, there should be some kind of a market, or for services there is a different kind of a market. But if you are able to identify the mass market in general, then based on the mass market, the goods and services can be delivered. So for example, a chartered accountant is he knows that a new rule is coming in. Okay, a new rule for the company is coming in, and that rule is applicable for every business person who is going to do the business under the law of the country. In that case, the chartered accountant knows the entire mass which is going to follow the same rule, and precisely they should frame the audit procedures and deliver the services for the client. Okay, these kind has to be there. And there are secret differences. Goods are tangible, that is we can see, feel and all that, but services are intangible, which cannot be felt. We can only realize that some service is being delivered for the customer, but that cannot be touched or felt or something cannot be done. So goods are tangible and services are intangible, and customer participating in many service processes. There will be a service encounter. What is a service encounter? Some cases, the customer might come with an encounter with the company management on a particular issue. So we cannot say that whatever services are being delivered to the customer, it will be straight away appreciated by the customer. So the customer might feel that there should be some manner, they are not happy with the service, or they might come out with some issue which has to be sorted out by the management. So there will be an encounter with the management by the customer. So this will have a moment of truth. So there will be some transaction or something might happen between the customer and the management, which will be emphasized by an evidence, a truth. Say for example, if a car is a repair is being undertaken by the management and the car is not functioning properly, or the same product or the same equipment which is being replaced did not function properly. In that case, there will be an encounter by the customer with the management, and this will create problems. So the management should see that whatever happens, immediate remedy is being done for the customer satisfaction. The demand for service is more difficult to predict than the demand for goods. For demand for goods, you can always predict easily. You can predict who is the customer who is requiring for that particular product. But a particular service requirement cannot be easily identified unless the customer or the client himself comes out with a particular problem and says that I need some suggestions or some solution for this. The service provider will not be in a position to render the service. So identifying the particular client or the particular customer is easier in the case of goods rather in case of service. So demand which is being generated in the market is somewhat difficult in the case of services. Services cannot be stored. So physical inventory, whenever you are going to produce something, even if it is not sold in the market, that can be stored in the goods or warehouses or ground. But the services cannot be stored. So it can be, the service provider has to wait till the customer or the client is approaching him for the particular service. And then the service management skills are paramount to a successful service encounter. So whenever a service encounter is coming between a customer and the management, the problem can be sorted out after proper discussion and proper implementation of newer products or service which can be provided. Then two more things are the service facilities, they need to be in close proximity to the customer. Normally whenever you need a service, say for example you need a banking service or need an insurance company or something, or even a post office or a telephone, the customer will easily go and approach whatever service is required by him. Okay. But in the case of goods, the case is something different. The factory need not be in the city itself. They can have a registered office, but the actual production center, it need not be in the city premises. It can be somewhere outside the globe even. You might not even go and visit the factory. The customer might not go and visit the factory. He might be visiting the salesperson or the registered office, but they will not go and visit the factory. So the factory can be, the factory where the goods are being produced can be outside the globe even, but in the services, the service provider should be in the close proximity with the customer. So it should be in the within the city limits. That is one difference. The last one is patents do not protect services. So whenever a product is being manufactured, normally we can patent the particular product, or even the process can be patented, so that others cannot have a copying of that particular product. But the services, normally the law is not protecting the service provider on patenting the services. So his service cannot be patented. A person can give a service, the same service can be given by another person who is also having a technical knowledge on that particular service, or a professional knowledge in that service. So a service provider cannot insist that this service is patented by me, it should be produced only by myself. So services are not being protected by the patenting. Okay. So this session will end up with this.